Today, we are going to be analyzing Trent Alexander-Arnold and his outstanding performance against Manchester City. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more analysis videos. In the first play, Trent Alexander-Arnold is keeping an eye on where his teammates are on the field. The transition between defense and attack is super important, especially at higher levels, as it doesn't give the opposition enough time to react. You can see there are 6 opponents in Liverpool's half. So, when the ball comes back to Trent, he quickly passes it to his winger to kickstart a counter-attack. Here, you can observe the opposition's defense, and there aren't many forward passing choices available. That's why Trent decides to play the ball to a midfielder checking in to receive it. This single pass compels an opponent to press the midfielder, opening up space behind. As the opponent moves in to close down Trent, the midfielder shifts to create a passing lane. However, the opponent curves their run to block that pass, inadvertently leaving space for Trent to send the ball down the wing. In this scenario, as Trent receives the ball, there's noticeable space on one side, prompting him to take his touch into that area. As the opposing player starts closing in, Trent cleverly feints a forward pass, leading the opponent to overcome it in an attempt to block the long ball. Since the opponent overcommits, it leaves space exposed behind him for Trent to cut the ball back in two. Now, since he has space, he is going to attempt to play the long ball out to his winger. Here, as the ball bounces back to Trent, these two opponents are slowly beginning to close him down. Now you can see the winger here in space to receive the ball, so Trent is going to play the ball into him and continue his run up the pitch. Now, as he receives the ball back, you can see this opponent commit in this direction, exposing space on this side for Trent to take his touch into. Now, as this opponent begins to close him down, Trent is going to try tap the ball off to his teammate but doesn't get there first. In this situation, the ball is about to be headed back down to Trent. Having already checked his shoulder, he anticipates the oncoming pressure from the opponent. This awareness allows him to confidently chip the ball over the opponent. As the winger plays the ball back into Trent, you can see him continuing his run forward into the space, looking to receive the ball back from Trent and continue forward. In this instance, the ball is headed down to this opponent. Now, just before this ball reaches the opponent, Trent is going to give him a shoulder in order to put him off balance, making it difficult for the opponent to keep possession of the ball. In this situation, as the opponent receives the ball, it's evident that he intends to move down the outside to advance up the pitch. Even if he opts to cut back into midfield, Liverpool has the players ready to close him down. Therefore, Trent anticipates the ball going in this direction. When the opponent takes a heavy touch in an attempt to escape, Trent strategically positions himself to place his body between the opponent and the ball, effectively regaining possession for his team. Here, Trent is going to check into the space ahead of him. As you can see, there is an opponent trailing him from behind. Now Trent is going to take his first touch in front of the opponent to block him off and not allow the opponent to tackle the ball off him. Now, as he begins to be closed down, Trent is going to play his teammate's front foot to allow him to drive forward. In this situation, you can see that it is a counter-attack, and the opposition are running in at Trent as this ball comes down. Trent must head this ball first time. Now he could head the ball out to his centre-back, but it would be far too risky, as if he mishits the ball, the opposition only have to like 30 yards to reach goal. Whereas if he heads the ball back into the middle, it's far less risky, as the opposition have to travel farther and past more opponents. Here, as the ball comes into Trent, there is an opponent out wide. Hence it is vital that Trent gets to this ball. Now, as you can see, there is plenty of space out ahead of him. So he is going to use this space and take his touch into that space and then drive forward up the field. Here, a through ball is played into the opposition striker. Trent is also on this side of the opponent, making this a difficult situation to defend. Now, as both players reach this point, you can anticipate that the opponent is going to take a heavy touch into the space ahead of him. When the striker does take a heavy touch, Trent is going to shoulder him as they reach the ball to put him off balance. Now, as he goes in for the shoulder, notice how he also uses his arm after. This can really help to get the opponent off balance. Here, the ball is going to be played into Trent in midfield here. As you can see, this opponent is in a position where he can go in both directions. So Trent is going to open up in this direction as he can use his body as a shield. Now after he opens up, you can notice this opponent right behind him, exposing the space where he came from. His momentum is also in this direction, so Trent is going to take his touch against that momentum in the opposite direction. Here as Trent receives the ball, he is going to take his first touch out of his feet into the space. Now his teammates are all making forward runs, looking for an early ball into the box. In this play, you can observe the ball coming down. Trent is applying substantial pressure on his opponent, making it challenging for him to control the ball. Once the opponent takes his touch into the space, he manages to get a slight edge over Trent. Consequently, Trent endeavors to make any possible touch on the ball to dispossess his opponent. As the ball is played out wide, Trent strategically changes his positioning when he notices an opponent making a run behind. A teammate is also seen tracking back, ready to assist Trent if a 1-to situation arises. In this instance, the opposition opts for a through ball to Trent's marked opponent. Thanks to Trent's proactive positioning, he efficiently intercepts the ball with relative ease. Now, as he regains possession, watch how he dribbles into the space, with his head up at all times, looking for an opportunity to play the ball forward. In this play, observe how a teammate makes a swift run behind the defense, creating a pocket of space as opponents are compelled to track the runner. Capitalizing on this, Trent makes a well-timed run into the vacated area. As Trent receives the ball, pressure is closing in from one side. In response, he skillfully takes his touch to the opposite side, setting himself up for a quick shot and successfully scoring a goal. At top levels, you get very little time to set up and take your shot, especially in the box, so you have to make sure your first touch is perfect in order to execute the shot as fast and as efficiently as possible. Trent is collecting a loose ball. Now as gets to the ball, you can see the opposition beginning to close him down. Since this is the opposition striker, Trent knows he can play the ball back to his goalkeeper without putting him in too much danger. In this scenario, the pitch is notably compact on one side, heavily populated by opponents with limited passing options. Recognizing this, Trent, positioned in open space as he receives the ball, seizes the opportunity to switch play to the opposite side, where the winger is stationed wide. In this scenario, Trent finds himself in a one-on-one situation with his opponent. Positioned strategically, he is ready to block the winger's path down the line. Anticipating the winger to take a touch inside, Trent quickly puts his body between the opponent and the ball, regaining possession for his team. Now notice how fast Trent goes out into space to receive the ball and start a counter-attack. As Trent receives the ball in this instance, you can observe the opponent's momentum moving in one direction. In response, Trent skillfully takes his touch in the opposite direction, going against their momentum, to create space and maintain possession of the ball. As Trent advances into open space, he starts dribbling forward, compelling the opponent to track his movement. This strategic play by Trent creates space behind him, allowing his teammate the opportunity to receive the ball and exploit the open area generated by Trent's drive forward. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more analysis videos. Also don't forget to like and share this video. Check out these other videos on the channel here. If you have anyone in particular you want me to analyze, please let me know down in the comments below. See you next time.